was yesterday, November the 3rd, 2011. The day that Bobby Roode became the it factor of professional wrestling. The day that I became the leader of the selfish generation. And the day that I became your World Heavyweight Champion. And since that very day, you, Sting, have been nothing more than a pain in my... For months, I've tried to figure out why the personal vendetta, why you have so much hatred towards me, Sting, and I think I've finally found the answer. I think I've finally figured it out. The fact is, you're jealous of me. Do you remember 22 years ago, Sting? 22 long years ago when you defeated the Nature Boy Ric Flair for your very first World Heavyweight Championship. Do you remember that day? 22 long years ago? Because I do. I was a fan. I mean, I watched it. I mean, Sting, you had it all, man. You had the look. You had the fire, the desire, the charisma. You were on top of the world, Sting. I wanted to be just like you, Sting. And the fact is, Sting, 22 long years later, you look at me every week. When you look at me, Sting, you see yourself in me. Because you see, Sting, I possess all of the same traits that you once had 22 long years ago, except I'm just that much better than you were. You see, because I'm bigger, I'm faster, I'm stronger, I'm smarter, I'm better looking. And let's face it, Sting, I'm just a better world champion than you ever were. And it's not just your jealousy, Sting, it's your ego. Your ego, I mean, come on, Sting. You're one of those guys that continuously hang around the business and steal the young guy's spotlight. Come on, Sting. Let it go. Step away from the spotlight. What are you afraid of? People are going to forget about you? Forget about your legacy? Forget your name, your face? I get it, Sting. But the business has passed you by, Sting. The business has passed you by. And this Sunday, you're going to step into the ring with the World Heavyweight Champion. Let's face it, Sting, in the morning when you get up out of bed, you don't get up as quick as you used to, do you? When you walk around the airport and walk around your house, you don't get around as good as you once used to, do you, Sting? And that stupid face paint that you put on doesn't scare me, Sting. As a matter of fact, Sting, the reason why you put that stupid face paint on is because when you look into the mirror, you have to mask yourself because you know deep down inside, when you look at yourself in the eyes, you know that you just don't have what it takes to hang in this business anymore. And on Sunday at Victory Road in the main event, I am going to expose you for who you really are. And that's nothing more than a washed up has-been who should have left the business a long, long time ago. What's wrong, Sting? What's wrong? What? You got nothing to say? Oh my God! Sting has nothing to say! For the first time in his career, Sting is at a loss for words. The truth hurts.
And now, more Pro Wrestling Weekly with your host, Fearon Derry.
Sit down, shut up, and listen up!
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry back here with you, talking a little Victory Road. Of course, I've got my predictions certain to go wrong for the pay-per-view. And Bobby Roode, got to give him credit. He carried that segment. Sting didn't say a word and didn't have to. I mean, he's definitely showing his improvement as far as carrying that entire segment, as far as, well, promoting Sting's past a little bit. And obviously setting the table for this no-holds-barred match. No pun intended, as Sting would then go and knock the table over, and there'd be a little bit of physicality going into the end of the show. But liking where Rude's going. Hopefully they can set things up rather nicely. It looks like they're already looking ahead to Lockdown next month, and Victory Road's just kind of a pothole in the road, as it were, to Lockdown coming up in April, where you're going to have James Storm against Bobby Roode, which is what they've been setting up for the better part of the last 6 months. Anyway, let's look at the... I'll take a look real quick at the predictions certain to go wrong, and then we'll get over to the phones. We've got 8 matches set up for Victory Road tomorrow night. Robbie E., of course, issuing an open challenge for his TNA Television Championship. I figure whoever he challenges, he'll retain. Bully Ray against James Storm. That's one that I'm looking forward to. I like what both guys are doing, but so I kind of hate to pick one of them to lose, because I mean both guys. James Storm definitely needs this to build momentum going into Lockdown, so I'm going to go with that. But I'm sure Bully Ray at some point should be rewarded for all the good stuff that he's been doing over the course of the last few months. Obviously getting into shape, and wow, what can you say about those calves, huh? Okay, I know it sounds hokey coming from me just as it is coming from him, but still, good job getting into shape, Bully Ray, and doing some great singles work for your career after being a tag team guy for the better part of almost 20 years. Samoa Joe and Magnus, speaking of tag teams, they're defending the tag titles against Crimson and Matt Morgan. I think they're going to retain. Kurt Angle against Jeff Hardy should be a dynamic singles matchup. I've got Angle winning that one over Hardy. Sting against Bobby Roode, we talked about it. We heard the clip there. No holds barred match. I think Roode, perhaps with some interference, is going to get the win there, and again, keep the momentum going into Lockdown. Gail Kim defending the Knockouts title against Madison Rayne. I think she's going to hang on to it. Madison, not exactly one of the greatest workers. I don't know what putting the belt on her at this point would be a good thing. Austin Aries defending the X Division title against Zema Ion. I've got Aries winning that. And then AJ Styles and Mr. Anderson, everyone's favorite, we're just going to leave it there. Against Kazarian and Daniels. I've got Kazarian and Daniels winning that one. And, of course, some sort of dissension between the newly found, well, not really friends, because as AJ Styles said, he can't trust friends, so he's going to align himself with, those kind of holes, exactly, as Anderson has declared himself on numerous occasions, much to my censoring dismay very early on a Saturday morning here on WBCB. Let's go ahead here. We're about halfway through this insanity. Let's go over to the phones. Let's get a look at the local scene courtesy of Ed from the Northeast. Ed, welcome to Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yes, happy St. Patrick's Day to you, too.
That's a shame about Dick Worley.
Yes, I had that in my notes and news. I was going to get to that. Yes, Dick Worley, the longtime referee, he passed away at the age of 81 this past Monday, and that I think first broke from the Honky Tonk Man, and it's always a shame whenever you lose anybody in the business, obviously.
And I think none of us will pass away back in the beginning of the month. His name slips my mind. I think it was Dane Prophet or Doug Furnace, one of those two.
Oh, that's all right. What do we got coming up in the local scene there?
Local scene.
Back to the business at hand here.
Sorry to stray off course. Anyway, OTW has a doubleheader next weekend in Williamstown at the training center.
Alrighty.
Of course, you know about the WWE in town this Monday night.
Oh, of course, yes. Monday Night Raw. I know. I've kind of glossed. I shouldn't say glossed over. That's probably not the best word. But yes, Raw is going to be in Philadelphia this Monday, and obviously, with only at that point 13 days until WrestleMania, who knows what kind of insanity is going to go on.
And SWO in Columbia, PA, at the Firehouse with a 7 p.m. bell time.
Excellent. Great stuff, Ed.
OTW is a doubleheader. I forgot to mention that. In Williamstown. And one more is TNA has Gail Kim and Mr. Anderson have Erie, PA and Indiana, PA this week or next weekend.
Oh, okay. Wow, that is a
meet and greet.
Yeah, yeah, who wouldn't want to meet Mr. Anderson, and especially who wouldn't want to meet Gail Kim, right? That's, yeah, well, this is a mostly family show. At least we try to. All right, thanks so much for the call and for the info, Ed. Always greatly appreciate it. We've got a little bit more Facebook feedback I'm going to quick jump to here. I'd mentioned in the beginning of the show that, I don't know, I'm not exactly feeling as excited about WrestleMania 2 weeks away as I should be. And Michael chiming in, he says, Fearon, as you get older, your interest in wrestling will continue to wane. These days, I spend more time watching old NWA and WWE clips on YouTube than watching the current product. The internet killed wrestling in kayfabe. That is an interesting thought, and actually, it's amazing that you mentioned kayfabe, because that's also been brought up on the internet as a little bit more banter between Cena and The Rock. We'll get into that in a little bit as well. We also have a question on the Facebook page. Just in case you weren't sure, it said, how do I get onto your site to hear past shows I missed last week's? Well, the best way to do that, go ahead and go to YouTube, and you can just type in WBCB Pro Wrestling Weekly, and we'll get, I've got all the archives pretty much every week up there since October. We've had up there, so going about the last 5 months worth of archives. Just go ahead and select the particular week, and we have it divvied up into the 3 sections, just that way it's not too long of a listening thing for you. Usually the clips are at most 20 minutes and, at least 10 minutes. Usually in that 10 to 20 minute range is where we like to keep those. Let's go ahead and get back to the phones. We've got Old School, longtime friend and fan of the show. Old School, what's going on?
It was, I wanted to ask a question. What happened to Jim Morris?
To who?
Jim Morris.
Jim Morris?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a little bit stumped as to who.
Jim Morris.
Jim Morris.
He used to be with Jim Morris. You know who Jim Morris, right?
No, clue me in here. Jim Moore.
Yeah, Jim Moore. Yeah.
I don't know who you're referring to there, Old School. That might be a little too old school for me.
Okay. Let's go. What happened to I forgot the other guy. What's going on with the Undertaker and Triple H?
Well, obviously, I mean, they've obviously had a long history, but if you've been catching some of the current product, they're going to go at it at WrestleMania in a Hell in a Cell match. Of course, the Undertaker looking to extend his WrestleMania undefeated streak to 20-0, and of course, Triple H trying to end that streak. And just to add to the fun and the delight, they're going at it in a Hell in a Cell, and Shawn Michaels, he is the special guest referee for that match, and that's coming up 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Okay, another thing, the Bears, he had a partner at one time. They were both tag team champions at one time, the Bears and the other guy.
John Morrison?
Jim Morris. Yeah.
Is that who you meant?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You're confusing the lead singer of the Doors with the wrestler here. No, not John Morrison, or John Morrison, not Jim Morrison. I think that's where you were confusing me and getting confused yourself. No, I was gonna say you just missed him in the area. He was doing an autograph and photo session at George's Cards and Collectibles last Saturday. He was here along with Melina and Maurice. So you just missed your chance to meet him. Wow. You could have found out all the stuff that was going on by asking him personally yourself.
Oh, okay, because he hadn't been wrestling a long time, so I don't know what happened to him.
Well, he kind of had a mutual parting of the ways with WWE a few months ago, and he took a little bit of time off to heal some injuries, and now he's doing some independent things and making his he's making his rounds.
Yeah. What about Chris Masters? What happened to him?
Chris Masters, I know I think he was Future Endeavored a little bit ago. He hasn't, actually, because he was, actually, maybe it was more than a little bit ago, because he was part of Signomania with George's Cards and Collectibles about 6 months ago. So he was let go from the WWE not too long before that. So he's just, he's wrestling in the independents.
I thought that somebody told me they let him go. WWE let him go or something.
Yeah, I mean, he was always kind of on thin ice anyway. I mean, he had a couple of violations of the wellness policy, so he already had a couple of strikes against him, and it seemed like they didn't have a whole lot for him. I mean, the extent of his character was the ability to make his pectoral muscles dance, to make his pecs bounce. There's not really a whole lot to go on with that, so that's why they ended up letting him go, and but I think he's doing all right for himself. I don't think there's any need to worry there.
I appreciate that.
All right. Thank you so much for the call, Old School. Appreciate it.
Okay, bye-bye.
All righty. We'll go ahead and take care of our second bit of business and come back, and we'll get Ron on the other side, as well as you. 215-949-3232 or toll free at 888-922-2149. You can also chime in on the Facebook fan page, WBCB Pro Wrestling Weekly. It's definitely been buzzing this hour, that's for sure. And we'll get to a little bit more of that as well here on Pro Wrestling Weekly on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.